This issue of Kenya Pipeline will bring a lot of excitement. Kenyans will buy in the IPO, but after the announcement of the financial results in February for the full year, the share company will collapse and the share price will collapse. And this is the reason. The current investor in the NSC are not buying assets. They are buying revenue.
And it's good for the Honorable Udo to speak to the gallery and excite those that he seeks to excite. The matter of inclusivity, transparency, and accountability have become cardinal in these laws.
The grounds for this privatization is all crooked process, Honorable Speaker. All crooked, all skewed. You are told they're spending lawsuits amounting to 5.7 billion. Your guess is good as mine. Who are the claimants? Who are the lawyers? And who are the brokers?
Yeah, I will focus on two issues. And the first one is, ladies and gentlemen, the bill I'm holding is called the Privatization Bill 2025. If you look at this bill, it talks about one of the key elements of this bill is the principle of transparency and accountability. How to ensure that the whole process is transparent and accountable. Look at the way that things have been done. You privatize Kenya Pipeline, and then immediately you bring to the House the privatization bill. That is a serious omission. Practically, we should have done with the privatization bill so that we ensure that we have the right legal framework before we do the privatization. The second point is, how much money are we expecting to get from the privatization of Kenya Pipeline? It is 100 billion. That's what they are trying to, by selling that strategic intervention, strategic investment in this country, we will only raise 100 billion. Now, if you look at our budget deficit this financial year, because they have factored this into the budget, it is about 870 billion. So you ask yourself, is it worthy really selling such a strategic investment to raise only 100 billion while you are going to borrow 876 billion from Kenyans? It means any right-thinking Kenyan would have said, because this is very strategic for the country, let's get another way of raising this money. And that's what we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, and Kenyans, that this process is not good for the country.
Kenya Pipeline inauzwa. Na tayari bunge imepitisha kuuzwa. Nani alihusishwa? Kwa ripoti ambayo kamati imepeana, wamesema bilioni 5.7 zilipwe kwa mawakili. Na iko kwenye report ambayo iko kwa order paper ya leo. 5.7 billion. Hii ni pesa inatosha kushughulikia mambo ya SHA. Hii pesa italipwa watu na haijafanywa verification ijulikane nani anaenda kulipwa. Motion ambayo imepitishwa inapatia serikali nguvu. Kwa nini mnaleta motion ya hiyo na kuna privatization bill ambayo iko kwa bunge? Si bill ingepitishwa ndio baadaye sasa muanze kuuza kulingana na kanuni na sheria zile zimewekwa. Ni vizuri pia niseme imepropose mambo kadhaa, lakini ya muhimu zaidi ni kusema bei ya mafuta leo ikiongezeka, ambaye tunaamini itaongezeka. Sasa ni mtu binafsi ndiye atakuwa kitawala mambo ya Kenya Pipeline.
Drama erupted in the National Assembly as members of Parliament clashed fiercely over the proposed sale of the Kenya Pipeline Company, KPC, one of the country's most strategic state-owned enterprises. What was supposed to be a routine session turned into a shouting match, walkouts, and fiery accusations as lawmakers battled over what many are calling the mother of all privatization fights. At the heart of the storm is a government-backed plan to offload up to 65% of KPC to private investors, with claims that the move will inject capital, boost efficiency, and expand KPC's operations across East Africa. But the opposition not buying it. They say the plan is shady, rushed, and possibly unconstitutional. MPs allied to President Ruto pushed the motion with full force, hailing it as a step toward unlocking KPC's commercial potential, especially in LPG and regional logistics. But opposition MPs led by vocal figures like Robert Mbui were having none of it. You cannot privatize national assets through ambush one furious MP shouted before leading a walkout from the chamber. Critics urged that the process lacked public participation, that critical information like violation, lawsuits, and pending liabilities were kept under wraps, and that Kenya might just be selling its lifeline to the highest bidder without proper safeguards. They have vowed to challenge the move in court, accusing the government of auctioning Kenya in broad daylight. They have vowed to challenge the move in court, accusing the government of auctioning Kenya in broad daylight. Meanwhile, the government insists everything is above board. They promised transparency, competitive procurement of advices, and a fair process that protects the public interests. But the tension is undeniable. This is no ordinary sale. This is war over national control. As the bill sails through Parliament and the Privatisation Bill 2027 looms on the horizon, all eyes are now on what happens next. Will the courts halt the sale? Will private investors bite? Or will this be remembered as the day Kenya handed over one of its most prized state assets in a cloud of secrecy and suspicion? Stay with Sauti Mzalendo as we follow this high-stakes battle, because when Parliament shakes, the country feels it. This is Sauti Mzalendo, your voice, your future.